Hi, I am Jason Baptiste. I'm one of the co-founders of Cloudomatic. Cloudomatic is building the infrastructure for software as a service web app developers to monetize and get more customers. I did what I guess Mark Zuckerberg calls like stopping out, not dropping out, but planning on going back at some point. I said, well, I can do either school and a startup, or I can pick one and try to do that really well. And I said, this is what I want to learn. This is a point in my life. So I went and did that. I moved to Silicon Valley. Didn't have the best end result that I wanted, but I learned a ton and said, hey, I'll go back to school and finish that. And I found it as, you can spend your life learning, and this was something I wanted to do for 18 months and learn that way. The rush, the excitement, what I believe is like there's very few professions in the world where you actually get to create and build, and you can do that with science in some ways, but with a startup you get to take what is absolutely nothing and say, this is what I see happening and how the world should change, and you actually get to build that from the ground up, and I think that's awesome. I think it's kind of you think things will happen fast because you see people talking about like success, like, oh, this company sold or this company got funded, but you never hear about the like, well, it actually took them 18 months, like going through their savings, and you never hear about the sacrifices. You always hear about the rewards. So I think it's always eye-opening to be like, well, it's way more difficult than you think, but if you want it, you go and do it. So thing I believe in is what they call organic startups, which is don't build something other people want, build something that you want, that you think needs to exist. And I'm sorry, if you think it needs to exist, you'll probably adapt it for other people. But if you build something that you want, or you're working with another company that's a product you think needs to exist in the world, that gives you that extra edge when you're thinking about quitting, or you're thinking about this might not just work, because if you don't build it, it will never exist, and when you want it, you kind of will keep tinkering until you get what you think needs to exist. Like any sane person would just give up, but if it's something you want at the end of the day, it gives you that extra push. So build something that you want. Be a little bit selfish at first. I would say, so when I did like my first project, I won't even call it like a startup. I was still in school. It was kind of like how I got my feet wet. I met a lot of people who were interested in entrepreneurship. We kind of all banded together. So I think it's keep your mind open and meet as many smart people as possible, right? Because like you can take any classes online, right? Like all these schools are there. You can do remotely. I think the thing that you can never fully replace with college is the people you'll meet. So go meet as many people as possible. I mean, if you're in business, go meet the engineering students. If you're in engineering, go meet some of the entrepreneurship business kids, or go meet people in random majors. Just go find really smart people. I think like the co-founder of Facebook, I think which one, Dustin, like he didn't even, I think I read a story that he didn't even know programming at first, and he was like, all right, well, this seems like a good thing, and he was a really smart person. He went and learned it, right? So like just meet as many smart people as you can. You can never go wrong, even if you don't do a startup. Like it's good to meet smart people. I want to say like the long term vision, right? Like, so you've got people who are very like, oh well, I'm worried about the next 6 months, but like, go and have a beer and be like, you know what, like, so I guess my favorite question is to ask, if you succeed to your fullest extent, like everything goes really well, like you hit a home run, like how will the world be different in 5 years? Like what do you see being different? Like see if that's something you fit with and you jive with, and it's one of those like maybe I could list like all these different qualities or just one like you asked, but I think it's one of those gut feelings. Like trust your gut. Like if you feel at home, go with it. And if you don't see yourself checking the time, then you probably know you made a good choice, right? Like I always believe like it's only work if you'd rather be doing something else. So just pick the best so you don't have to do anything else. That's my advice.